Welcome back to our Python programming course. In this today's video, we will be diving deep into the world of variables in Python. Variables are essential elements in programming. You might even say they are the foundation of programming. This is because they allow you to work with and manipulate data. Understanding variables is crucial for writing efficient and effective Python code. So before we get started, make sure you have Python installed on your computer. If you haven't done so already, check out my previous videos on how to install Python for step-by-step instructions. So what are variables? So let's start by understanding what variables are in Python. In simple terms, a variable is named container that hold a value. Think of it as a labeled box where you can store different types of information such as numbers, strings, or even complex data structures. Don't worry if you are not familiar with these data types, I'll demonstrate them in upcoming videos. In Python, variables are dynamically typed, which means you don't need to explicitly declare the data type when creating a variables. Python determines the type based on the value you assign to it. The flexibility makes Python powerful and versatile programming language. Therefore, it is important that you can identify variables and recognize how they are used. Declaring variables in Python is very straightforward. All you need to do is declare a name and assign it a value. The word variable refers to something that can be changed. To do this in Python, for a variable that has already been declared, you only need to reassign or redeclare it. Let's explore an example. So let's say the variable x has been assigned the value of 10. To change this, you only have to redeclare it. So it will have the value of 20. The examples so far have relied on simple naming conventions such as x, y, and z. When working on a project with other developers, it will become increasingly difficult to know what these variables means or refer to as. As a programmer, you will write a lot of code over time, and if it's been a few months, you are mostly like not remember exactly what the code was supposed to do. Using generic variables like x and y doesn't give any information about that variables and where it is used. Giving meaningful names to your variables that make sense in the given context will allow you and other programmers to easily understand what's going on. As a programmer, it is important to understand that data will change throughout the life cycle of your program. Whether it's getting user input via a web form or working with variables inside the code itself. The key function of the variable is to keep a reference to some value. Now that you have a basic grasp of variables and their role in Python, let's move on to a more practical demonstration of the variables and how to use them. So I'll go to my VS Code editor and I'll demonstrate how to use variables in Python. But first I want to briefly talk about naming conventions, which is very important as a programmer. There are different options available to you as a developer when it comes to naming your variables. One option is called camel case. The first letter of the first word is lowercase and the first letter of every word after that is uppercase with no space between words. For example, if I have a variable called my name, take my name, I'll put the m of my in lowercase and the n of name is uppercase with the rest of the letter in lowercase and no space between the words. So I can take a different approach with snack case. When using snack case, you keep everything in lowercase, but you use an underscore between words. If I want to make the variables my name, so my underscore name would be the result of this approach. Although you have different options as a developer, it's a good idea to be consistent when you are creating variables across your programs. So let me clear the screen so I create a variables in Python by initializing a variable and assigning it to value. All I have to do is name the variable. For example, if I type x equal 5, I have declared a variable and assigned it a value. I can also print out the value of variable by calling the print statements and passing in the variable name, which in this case in x. So I type print x. When I run the program, I get the value of 5, which is the assignment as I given initial variable. So let me clear my screen again. You have several options when it comes to declaring variables. You can declare any different type of variables in terms of value. For example, x could equal a string called hello. To do this, I type x equal hello. I can then print the value again, run it, and I find the output is the word hello. Behind the scenes, Python automatically assigns the data type for you. You will learn more about this in an upcoming video on data types, so don't worry. You can declare multiple variables and assign them to single value as well. For example, making x, y and z or equal to 10. I do this by typing x equals y equals z equals 10. I print all three values separately. When I click on the run button again, I find that all three of those assignments have 10 as their values. So again, I clear my screen before I move on to the next example. Yet another option you have is to do multiple assignment. For instance, I type x, y, z separated by commas equal 1, 2, 3. Also separated by commas. In this way, I have assigned each of this value to the corresponding letter. X equal 1, y equals 2, z equal 3. To test this output, I can print all three variables, click run, and I'll find that the values 1, 2, 3 corresponds to the declaration above. Another important point that you should be aware of it variable assignment and how you can change. So a variable is subject to change throughout the life cycle of your program. You will make changes to the value or the assignment of the variable itself. So you need to know how to do that. So let's explore another example. I type x equal to 10 and I print that value. After this, I change the value of x to 5 and I print the value 2. So when I click the run button, it print out as a 10 on the first line. It is 5 on the line below because the value is reassigned. Finally, you need to know how to delete variable. So my variable is its value is 10 and I have printed it output, and then on a new line I type the delete command or del for short, followed by x space and letter x, so which represent my variables. I then print the variables by using the print functions, and then I click the run button. The value is first given as 10 because the variable still exists, but after the deletion it's shown an error saying that is not defined. You just covered variables naming conventions. So now you know how to declare a variables and assign its value, and you know how to declare any different type of variables in term of value. You can declare multiple variables and assign them as a single value, and you can do multiple assignments. Finally you also learned how to delete a variables. That brings us to end of this video. You can now identify the 5 variables and recognize how to use them in Python. So that is for today's video. If you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more Python programming tutorials. Thank you for watching.